So in the second part, we'll be creating the stars and the background for our animation, setting up the lights and camera. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is add my camera. So I'm going to go to add camera here, and I'm going to do a vertical split. And I'm going to get my camera view here. Whoa, it's way in there. Okay, so I want to make sure I have my camera selected, and I'm going to go ahead and move that out. Sorry, got my camera. I'm going to push G and Z to move that out side of my rocket first. I'm going to go back into my Z view. I'm gonna zoom in here so I can see more of what I'm seeing. And I want to move it along the Z-axis still. I'm holding G and Z to move it back more. And this just kind of depends. You could also make your rocket smaller. So that's what I have so far. So I think I'm okay with that for my camera. So what we want to do is kind of create our background scene. So we're going to create some stars first. I'm going to go back into my Z-axis. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this plane. I'm just going to right click here and join areas. Click this one. Turn off my camera view for now. Oh, no. Turn off my camera view there. So to add a star, we're going to go to Add Mesh Circle. And we can come here and set our vertices. I'm going to try 8 first. And there's my circle here. I need to move that out. And I'm going to scale this down. I'm going to go into edit mode. And I'm going to get my vertex select. I'm going to click on one and then hold down Shift to click on every other vertex there. So I'm going to get my scale tool and just scale these inwards to create like that star shape there. And you can try this out with different vertexes. Maybe you want to do 10 where it has that 5th point. So just kind of get that how you want it. Let's go back into object mode. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is add a fill to the shape. So you need to make sure that you're in edit mode for this and you'll highlight over your object. You'll go up here to face and select fill to fill that in. And let's go ahead and I'll just show you, go back into object mode, and show you what the 10 vertices might look like. So I might move it here. Go select these different, every other one for the vertex. And I'm going to scale it. course, mine's too big for now, so I'm going to scale the whole thing down. And I'll go ahead and add my fill to that. So you can decide what kind of stars you might want to make. You can make multiple. It's up to you. Okay, so I'm going to stick with the 4-point star. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this one. And I'm going to go back into my two different areas here, and I'm going to turn on my camera mode on this side and just kind of figure out where I want my stars to be. And I might need to scale this down a little bit. And I'm going to press Shift D to create some copies of these. And if you wanted, you could add some other things, maybe a planet or moon or something like that. Okay, so if you want, you can hide this workspace or you could just make this one larger. We're going to add a plane in the back so that we're able to have a background color there. So I'm going to go to add mesh plane. And I want to go ahead and I don't want to move it yet. I'm just going to scale this to make it the size of my camera. Okay, so I see now it's the size of my camera. I'm gonna turn it here and I'm gonna move it now back so that it's behind my rocket. And now I need to scale it again because it needs to be larger. So my stars are in front. I'll just have to change the color so that they are able to be seen. Before I start working on my background colors, I want to place my lights. Just some. I don't have to keep them the way that I do place them, but I do want to do that first. So I'm going to put this in the render mode. Then I'm going to come and add light. I'm going to go ahead and do area light. So I'm coming over here and going to change the power first to 1000. Maybe move this back a little bit. So right now I just have the one light. And I'm going to go ahead and go back into shading. And I'm going to go back into my layout. I'm going to go ahead and add two lights, one on each side here. So I'm going to click on this and push Shift D to make a duplicate of it. Okay, so I'm going to go look at this again, the shading. And I think I'm good with the way this lighting looks for now. So I have my background selected. Just going to kind of zoom out here. First thing we're going to do is change our base color. We're just going to start off with a black, or if you wanted to do like a navy blue or something, you could also do that. So now I'm thinking, ooh, the lighting is a little much, so I might have to go dim that down. I'm going to go back into my layout, and I'm going to select this slide here and bring it down. I'm going to try 500. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And I'll go ahead and do the same thing here. But my rocket's still a little bit too dark, so I'm going to do 800 for the middle for now. So I'm going to go back into shading. And I'm liking that black better, so I'm going to stick with that. Again, I have this selected. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is move this over here. And I'm going to come in here and press Shift A and search noise. I'm going to go ahead and put that down here. Okay, so I'm going to move this one on this side. Oh, I'm going to try it. I'm going to move it to the subsurface. Okay, so I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to again do Shift A and search color ramp. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and drag it over here to my noise texture, and then I'll zoom in here so you can see we're going to drag this inward so that we can see more of the black. What we're going to do is come over to the scale. We're going to increase that to about 700, and then we can increase this to make this guy look a little more starry in the background. I know we have our big stars here, but or if you don't want that, you can definitely skip that step. So I'm just going to zoom in here and kind of see what that looks like. You can increase it or decrease it. Okay, so next we want to do Shift A again. We'll search mapping. Now we're going to put it over here on this side of our noise texture and move our vector to our vector. Then I'm going to push Shift A again and search texture coordinate right here and put that next to here. And we're going to move this part of the vector to the generated. Okay, so once you have that, we're going to duplicate this noise check texture. So I have my noise texture. I want to duplicate it. I'm holding Shift D, dragging it down here. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change my scale to 2. So I'm going to move this noise texture over here on this side. And leave some room here. Okay, I'll hold Shift A, search mix, and I'm going to select mix color, and then I'm going to drag this right in between this line, so the color should be lined up to A, and this result should be lined up to surface. Then I'm going to get my noise texture and put this node into B. Okay, so I'm going to move this up here. We don't really need to see that one as much. I'm going to move this noise texture vector into this noise mapping vector. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move this one over. So we're going to add another. So let's push Shift A again and make another color ramp. And I'm going to put that here, so it should be connecting your noise texture to your mix. Okay, so now I'm going to zoom in here to this color ramp, and I'm going to bring this in. So you should start seeing these little cloud looking shapes there. And you can click here and change the color of that. Some of you want to do blues and pinks, or pinks and purples, or just kind of whatever. Then if you want to make those a little more smokier, you can increase the detail. So I feel like my color is a little too bright, so I'm going to click on it here and just turn down the value to make it not as shocking and blend in a little more with the space background. Okay, so now we're going to just add one more color here into our space background. So I'm going to zoom out and highlight over these two nodes here. And I'm going to hold Shift D to, whoa, sorry. Okay, I'm going to highlight these, hold Shift D, and drag those down here. Then I'm going to also duplicate my mapping node. So I'm going to select that, hold Shift D, and duplicate that down here. And now I will zoom in to these nodes. Okay, so let's scroll up here to this mix node. And we are going to duplicate this one also by holding Shift D. And we're going to drag it right in between this one. Don't freak out. And we're going to come down here to this color ramp and extend it to this B color here. Okay, so now we'll scroll down and we're going to connect this vector to this vector. We're going to come over this way. Move this over a little bit. I'm going to move this vector from mapping to the generated one. Okay, so now what we're going to do is change, make sure you're on the very bottom color ramp, because we have 3 of those right now. And I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to change the color. And you can see that it kind of went right over our blue one, so then that's why we will need to come down here and on the mapping, change the rotation. So you can start messing with that so that they're not in the same spot. That's just kind of up to you where you want those colors to be. You can even come up to the blue and do the same thing. if you're not caring for where those are at. Okay, so I think I'm good with that. Okay, so if there's anything else, if you wanted to add another color, feel free. That's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back into my layout. And I'm going to click on my, oh, all my stars. I have so many. And I am going to select all my stars. I'll just join. So now they're all on one layer. I'm going to go ahead and name these my stars. I'm going to name this my space. This is my space background. My main light. This is my left light. My right light. So I'm going to click on my stars and come down here to my and add material. So I'm going to click on a new material there. And of course you can do this whatever color you would like. And I'm going to try to stick with just white for now. Okay, so now if you needed to, you could do any more adjustments. I think I'm going to add one more light. Okay, I finally have my lights how I want them, so I'm going to right click here on my split and join areas. So I just can see this one. So that's it for the second part. You can go to the part 3 to learn how to animate the rocket on a pad.